Today we finished the roadmap for Chorus Blaster. I think the piece is basically done from a compositional standpoint. Now it's a matter of adding all of the final details of, transitional sounds and effects to like really sell things, and also kind of like get the mix dialed in a bit more, which we did some mixing as well. I'll play the full piece when I kind of feel like I've hit the it's done and I'm just like doing mastering. For now, I'll just play kind of the end of it here. You can kind of hear how the piece closes out. You can go hear the other sections and other pieces. Try to keep a little bit of suspense for what the piece actually fully sounds like. Anyways, here's what it sounds like. It goes wild. We might do a few extra little things here. I might have like one more of these horns and have this these 4 bars here be a little bit more, or these 8 bars here be a little bit more full of actual sounds to have the end not just be one final horn, but it'll be the second one will be a final horn there. The only like new element we have is this guy up here. It was just supposed to go with our beat. Kind of get you have like this like rock like kind of riding along, kind of fit with the vibe here at the end. This is a sound off of Splice that we did 2 things to. One, shaved off a lot of the kind of tonality that was in it. It's got this very kind of harsh sounds to it, and then it's like, you hear that, like really tonal pitches there that we took and minimized dramatically with finding the resonant frequencies and carving those out, and then also just kind of taking out the bass in general. And then we put a shaper box that's just got some noise, some crushing happening, so a little bit of bit crushing happening with the envelope mode here. So on the transients, just add some noise, a little bit more interesting than just all by itself there. So that combines to... It's cool. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like maybe I could find a better sample for this, a better topper there that will fit better with exactly the way that my brain is hearing those sounds. But for now, I think it's fine. We also did a little bit of work on the transition here, kind of getting the pieces, the elements lined up properly, and added these snare hits at the beginning of kind of dropping out of the transition here, out of this section into this section. We've put some little, and I think it's pretty cool. Though they do get very much eaten up by the pickup notes for the blaster there. You'll hear like bada of the drums, then do-da of the bass, because it's just such a huge sound, that bass sound. It takes up all the frequency, so it definitely immediately eats away at our snare space there. A few things we're doing here too, though, as we're cutting everything out of this section, I was like, I do need the 2 elements that are left to be very loud. So we actually put the pickups on their own channel here, and you can see that they are on the original channel. We have the Chorus Blaster bass at -3.6, and then we have this at +2. So it literally 5 decibels louder, or 5 fader units louder. I think that's supposed to be decibels. 5 louder there for the pickup notes, and you can kind of hear it here in this. If I turn off the side change, it's like just those 2 notes hit you like really sharply in the face before kind of fading back a little bit. And the same thing's happening up here with our beat, where I actually have it just increasing by about 3 decibels, 2.5 decibels, for just this little pickup notes. And just those are supposed to be significantly louder, and they do jump out in kind of a way that like really grabs your attention that says we are transitioning. Pay attention to where we're going. that little volume increase when we're kind of like thinning out the texture just to 2 sounds and making sure those 2 sounds really pop up in volume for just a second there, I think really works. And then we can pull them back down when we have all these other sounds that come in. Other than that, we added a few transitional elements. We kind of right now I'm kind of very bluntly just kind of stacking the choirs. As you just coming out of the just taking the pre-drop choir and stacking it on top. I'll definitely do a little bit of work of like having those fade in together. And then I think I want to put like a phaser kind of sweep through those, a whoosh sort of sound like to like really drive home. I want this to get a bit bombastic here at the end before we have that final horn come in. So we might stack a few more things in this area and have them all kind of come down a little bit in volume as the cacophony builds. Try to work on having the texture increase without having the lufts dramatically increase. But yeah, I think overall this piece coming in right now at just under 3 minutes. If we were to go out to another 8 bars, it comes up to pretty much 3 minutes exactly. So a good length for me. I will always make these tracks way too long, and I think that this is a good middle ground of like just a good 3 minute track here. Oh, the other thing I did that I do want to talk about quickly. I put this EQ on our chorus blaster, which is, I think, pretty notable. If you listen to it, you're like, it really brings up the bass of the bass here. This is supposed to be a bass sound, but every time I was like, especially when I had this turned off, you would listen to this section and it I don't know, it just sounded so much thinner than it was coming before it. Really add some body back to that sound there, and I don't like doing this to really big sounds like this, especially boosting the bass. It's like we're already banging off the limiter pretty well, and this just makes it bang a little bit more, but it didn't sound bad with the limiter on. So I put that in there for now, just kind of trusting my ears instead of trusting my brain that says don't put massive decibel increases. To be fair, it's a 2.5 decibel increase kind of across this entire floor, and then a 4 decibel increase on just these frequencies here. I just kind of move this around until it sounded right. And given that this kind of just sits on one chord the whole time, I'm not too worried about the harmonics moving around and needing to have this follow those chords or something. And it was originally I had this up at like 3.5 and I pulled it down a whole decibel just like after I kind of got it to like, well, like this feels good, let's then pull it down just a little bit less extreme of an effect. That usually seems to be a good spot for me. And overall, I'm pretty happy with how all of the sonics of this sit. Tomorrow I'm going to try and get all the like final pieces locked in and then maybe call it done. And if that's the case, then I'll play the track all the way through and hopefully put this on Spotify as like a DLC pack for Boss Fight. Go check out Boss Fight if you like this type of music, you like chiptune music. I do have a chiptune EP out you can go and listen to on all platforms everywhere, link down below. But yep, that's all we have time for today. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.